Hello and welcome to Steps to Success. My name is D'Angelo Simmons, and I believe that if your heart is in every step, then you are already a success on your journey. Now, when I speak about your journey, I'm speaking about your personal life experience. I feel that no matter what career, relationship, new car, or clothes that you want, it's all ultimately to create a joyful life experience. Now, you may have heard me say that I believe that your journey of success, your life, is 100% mental. And one thing that really affects your mental state is your emotions. Now, for some people, their emotions can lead them to a feeling of depressed or powerlessness or love, joy, and freedom. Now, I can't speak for some people. As you know, we're all about my personal life experience. I love to give you guys advice based on my own steps that I've already taken. So I personally have not really dealt with too many, battles with mental health specifically, but I feel that what I have in this video is going to be very important for somebody that you may know that deals with mental health. So definitely stick around, and I'm going to share with you a personal experience that I had with a friend of mine that dealt with mental health. So I believe that you guys should stick around because it's all to help you out. Now, what I have behind me is your emotional guiding scale. This is an emotional guidance scale, and I like for you to think of it as a gas tank, right? So this is like empty and this is full. As you can see, I put a lot of effort. This is the gas tank, right? So with this gas tank, as you can see, guys, you have, starting over here at the empty, a feeling of powerlessness, right? So this is ranging from 22 emotions. These are all 22 emotions. Now, the main thing I want you guys to know before we get into this, right, is ultimately there really are only two emotions, right? All of these words right here can get you confused, right? To make you really maybe even aid to powerlessness feelings. But there's ultimately two emotions. Either you feel good or you feel bad, right? And since, a lot of words are meant to, ultimately mean, a lot of words in the English dictionary mean the same thing, right? And some words, have different meanings, but ultimately there's not many words. So the main thing you need to know is good and bad are the two feelings of emotions, right? So with that being said, you as somebody, you can start right here with the fear, depression, powerlessness. And then you see we have pessimism in the middle. And then we have, love, joy, and freedom. And I would like for you to think of this as a gas tank that gauges how connected you are to your source energy, right? So when you're over here at fear, depression, powerlessness, you are in a feeling of not connected to your natural state of well-being. You first have to know, before we really dive into it, that you naturally deserve everything that you possibly want, everything you desire, you deserve it. But not only do you deserve it, you already have it. You just have to open the channels of actually receiving it and allowing it to flow to you. And one of the things that do that allows you to do that is for you to become a deliberate creator, which is basically just deliberately thinking about how you feel. Instead of reacting to what the world gives you, you actually sit back and assess what the world gives you and you decide how you feel, right? And with that being said, guys, over here, you're at empty, right? A feeling of emptiness. And over here at joy, love, and freedom, knowing that all is well, you're right here at a feeling of full connection to your true natural source energy. The true source energy that says that, all is well. You deserve to be good, right? So this being said, I like to really get into it with you guys by giving you a personal experience. So I had a friend in my life where, great person, great personality, the great person all the way around. However, they battled some depression, severe depression. And with them, having a feeling of depression, one thing about this scale, I want you guys to see. If you're at depression, you had a feeling of emptiness, right? You're not connected to your natural source energy. With you being not connected to your natural source energy, you feel powerless, but it's only because you're not allowing it, right? Now, what ultimately happens when people are right here, you try to make a quantum leap. You don't want to feel depressed, so you're going to try to go to depression all the way over to joy, love, and freedom. But it doesn't work like that. And that's what I'm going to break down to you in this video. It doesn't work with joy, going from depression, powerlessness to joy, love, and freedom. To give you a quick example, I like for you to think back to a time where maybe you were really upset, right? Maybe, you just were very upset, whatever happened in your day. And then you had a really good close friend to you that maybe came to you and maybe tried to make you feel better, right? Now, there may have been that day, whatever they said, you just couldn't feel better. whatever they said, no matter what it was, right? No matter if it was a joke, no matter if they offered to take you out, no matter what they did, you did not feel better, right? And that's because you were maybe too far down the scale to be able to make a quantum leap, right? Now, what oftentimes happen if, say you take that same scenario and your friend, you're having a bad day, then your friend comes and, teases you a little bit, and then you start feeling better. Well, that's because of this, right? Say you were at a feeling of boredom. You were bored that day. And maybe your friend came and teased you, right? And just kind of, said, hey, man, let's get up. Let's do something. You fat, you lazy. Let's get out, man. Stop being lazy, right? So that being said, this boredom maybe switched to optimism, right? So you went in 1, 2, 3. You hop 3 emotions on this emotional guidance scale, right? Now, you hopping those 3 emotions on this emotional guidance scale was very easy, right? Because you were right here. So you feeling better was easier because you weren't so far down the scale. Now, let me get back to my friend. My friend, they were down the scale of, fear, depression, powerlessness. This led to them feeling, having thoughts of anger, right? So having thoughts of anger, which is up here on the scale, right? Thoughts of anger, that, were misdirected at me, myself. And the reason why, if you have these thoughts of anger and they're misdirected, it is not a good thing because, the person that's being the person that's being angered at, right? They're going to feel like you're attacking them for no reason, even though you know the person's heart, right? That being said, though, that person that feels like they're attacked for no reason, the person that's not, depressed, is going to naturally try to get that person to stop being angry. And the reason why they're going to get that person to stop being angry is because of their own selfish intent. Meaning that they don't like the person being angry around them because that energy is going to wear off on them, right? So they're like, stop being angry. That being said, what you're doing, if somebody really, if you have a friend that you're close to, you want them to feel better naturally. But when you're telling them to stop being angry, you're actually repressing these emotions, right? So what you're doing is, instead of allowing your friend to naturally go up this scale, right? So to go from fear, depression, powerlessness to guilt, unworthiness, to jealousy, to hatred, revenge, anger. So to jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to jump 5 steps, we would often rather push them back down to this feeling of fear, depression, and powerlessness because it's uncomfortable for the person that it's affecting. Now, check this out. The reason why the person that's, is going to push them back down is because the person, if you were to take the person that was depressed and, powerless, if you were to take that person and they were consciously aware that they were choosing angry thoughts, then what would happen is they would feel the relief, right? Now, what I want you guys to know, just to take a tad step back, this whole thing, right? You have 2 emotions. You feel good, you feel bad. That's it. All of this is just a whole bunch of gray area. You either feel good or bad. That being said, when you either feel good or bad, ultimately, you're only looking for a small feeling of relief, right? So that being said, if you're somebody that's fear, depression, and powerlessness, guilt and unworthiness feels a lot better than feeling powerless, right? At least when you feel guilty, you have the feeling of, you choosing your guiltiness, right? You know that you can feel not guilty, but at least you're choosing that guiltiness, right? So that's the difference, right? So that being said, you're taking incremental steps up an emotional guidance scale. Now, the further down you are, you may not even be aware that you're actually improving. So let's go back to my friend. If you go back here and I'm pushing them back all the way down the scale, right? I'm unintentionally hurting them, right? And this could be somebody in your life as well. Think about that. If somebody that deals with depression, you may be pushing them back into their shell unintentionally. So what that looks like in real life is, you may, have a talk with your friend, tell them like, this is not gonna work. I don't like that type of anger. And that being said, when you do that, you're thinking that you may be helping them and trying to ration the things, right? But what you're really doing is pushing them back down into depression. So what it'll look like is, they may really feel, because they really are genuinely a good person, they feel like, you're right, I'm tripping. But at the same time, what you're really doing is pushing that anger and that fear and that depression, powerlessness back. So what's going to happen is a somersault. So they're going to go back down here, but it's going to just go right back up here again, right? And then they're going to go back down here because you could tell them stop being angry. So then they're going to go back down to depressionist, and then they go back. And it's just back and forth, guys, back and forth. And this is all unintentional. Now, what happens when you become intentional, right? What happens when you set your intent? Like I said, that person who is fear, depressed, powerlessness, if, they were aware that they were choosing these thoughts of anger from the perspective of trying to get better, and they actually felt the relief. Now, what will happen is if you're fearing, depressed, and powerless, you're going to get up into this anger, revenge, this hatred, this rage, all of these type of feelings. You have to move through these feelings in order to even to get over here, right? So that being said, you have to be consciously aware of the relief. Now, what happens is unconsciously, oftentimes, this depressed person is not aware, unfortunately, of the anger relief, right? So they may be aware that they're angry, right? But they're not aware that they're angry because it feels better than being depressed. And that is huge, guys. When you're aware that you're angry just because it feels better than being depressed, then you can learn to maybe soften on yourself a little bit, right? Maybe look at yourself, okay, I'm going to feel this anger, but I'm going to move through it to blame. I'm going to move through that to discouragement, to worry, to doubt. I'm going to feel this doubt. I'm going to feel this overwhelming, this disappointment, this frustration, this pessimism, this boredom. And now I'm moving to contentment and hopefulness and optimism. It's a step-by-step process, guys. And that is the biggest thing that I want you guys to know, right? It's a step-by-step process. So this is an example of, how it can maybe help somebody that deals with mental health issues in your own, personal life. To, my friend, I feel like this will really help them out, and maybe they're even watching this. I feel like this could really help them out because if you're somebody that's a depressed person, like I said, I never really dealt with those kind of emotions personally because to be quite frank with you guys, my drive, my feelings, I always have something that's bigger than me. So what keeps me going, if there's something bigger than me, then what I'm, maybe seemingly battling is not really real to me because I know that there's something bigger than me that's going on. So, having a bigger purpose ultimately can help you, get out of certain things, but sometimes you just got to deal with this stuff on your own, right? So this being said, I feel like this can really help people, but one thing I want to let you guys know on the opposite end of the scale, this is all great, it's helpful, I want you guys to share this with people that maybe can use it, but I want you to know that you cannot do this work for anybody. You can't do this work for anybody. You cannot help anybody go up this emotional scale, right? Just like you can't help them go down. Like I just explained to you in the beginning, the initial, if you're somebody that's boredom, right? Your friend came and started picking on you, you're just on the couch, chilling, watching TV all day. Your friend kept picking on you. You can go up maybe 2 or 3, right? Because you're already at boredom. Your 2 or 3 is going to be at optimism. Versus if your same friend that's on that couch is maybe in a feeling of depression, then their 2 or 3, if you pick on them and tease them, may go up to hatred or revenge. Their 4 may go to anger. Their 5 may go to discouragement. So what I'm telling you, that's not your job to sit through this, steady progression of emotions. Your job as your person is ultimately to be able to take care of yourself. So I started this video by letting you guys know how you can help somebody else out, but I want you to know this ultimately helps you out, right? Because what this looks like in your own life, in your own day-to-day progression, how I even use this in my own life, my own day-to-day progression, I'm more consciously aware of what's actually going on, right? So I'm more consciously aware if I'm bored and I'm like, man, what's going on? What I understand is if I'm bored, then I'm not connected to my true source energy. My true source energy, my connectedness to that is going to allow more of my desires and things that I want in my life to flow to me naturally. So that being said, if I'm over here bored, I can check myself like, man, let me change my thoughts. And that's the beautiful thing about all of this, guys. It's nothing more than a change of thought, right? There's a thought, feeling, action. I know you saw the posters when you were in school, right? You have that thought, feeling, and then action poster, right? That being said, you can literally change all of this just by thinking different. And this is how I use it in my life today. And this is why I want you to use it personally. So you can send this video to help somebody. And if you're the person that's watching this and somebody sent this to you, then this can help you right here. Just knowing that all you have to do is choose a thought that feels a little bit better than the last one. That's it. Just choose a thought that feels a little bit better than the last one. And then a little bit better than that. And then a little bit better than that. And then what happens is you got goosebumps. Goosebumps running through your body. I got little goosebumps right now. I got goosebumps running through your body because you're connected to your true source energy. That's what those goosebumps are. And guys, I'm gonna have to give a huge shout out to Asking It Is Given. I love that book. If you know me, if anybody that know me, you know that I really love reading, and I've always told you how much reading changes life. You've even, started reading some books. Asking It Is Given, you have to read it. That has, since I've read that book, I have not read another book. So I'm on my third listen. I'm almost finished with my third listen. It's about 5-6 hour listen. You already know, you just go out there, take a walk. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go walk and enjoy that book. It's a great read. It'll help you. That being said, guys, this is it. This video, it was, I really pray and I faithfully know that you got as much help from this video as I got as much, much joy from teaching it and learning it. It's amazing. So, that's another reason, right? This love, joy, empowered freedom. You feel empowered because you're connected to your natural flow, your natural source energy. Hopefulness is a lot less than having that faith, right? This positive expectation is different than being optimistic. When you really, I would encourage you guys, take a screenshot and really just kind of think about what this actually means, right? Because when you think about how frustration is actually better or less, how pessimism is better than frustration, that's very intriguing when you really get to thinking about these things and get to thinking about why, and also getting to correlate it in your own life and getting to really recognize and become aware when you are feeling these emotions and recognize how your thoughts connect to these emotions. I mean, mastering that is a challenge within itself, right? So, and not even a challenge, but it's a game, right? It's a game within itself. So definitely check out Asking It Is Given. And as always, keep your heart in every step. If you don't do anything, guys, remember, there's only two feelings, good and bad. Just reach for a little bit of relief every time, a little bit of relief, a little bit of relief. You start thinking, you're down here. Guess what? You can become right here to up here, maybe in a day, if you just really just took and recognized each step and actually recognize, consciously be aware that you may be blaming somebody for something that may not even ever transpire. Maybe you're just thinking it, but it's all because it feels better than this. So just consciously be aware of yourself and your patterns, guys. Asking It Is Given. Read that book. For real. It's going to help you. I know it will. As always, as long as your heart is in every step, then you are already a success on your journey. As always, be easy.